I'm sitting here with Barrett Goetz of Movie Mash blog, moviebash.com. Barrett, why don't you,
moviebash.com.
TheMovieMash.com. Why don't you tell me about Movie Mash?
Okay. Well, it's been almost 2 years live, and I've been blogging for almost 2 years now. Started back in April of 2009 at 29 Partners, the PR agency where I had my first out-of-college full-time job. And one day I was meeting with my supervisor, and my whole life I've always been the movie guy that knows everything about movies. I'm obsessed. I'm a geek. I'm a nerd. Whatever. I consider myself to be, the IMDb of my friends. And one day I was just talking to my supervisor about it, and she's just like, "Why don't you start a blog?" So I was like, "All right." So I created a blog spot. It was called Barrett at the Movies or something like that, and looked terrible, obviously, because I didn't know much about it. But I started posting movie reviews of movies that I saw in theaters, movies that I rented, and stuff. And then I would pass around to my friends on Facebook and email it to everyone I knew. And people, had a lot of feedback and suggestions and everything. And eventually it kind of morphed. The design morphed over the oncoming months, and the domain and the name. And eventually, with your help as well, I bought the domain name, themoviemash.com, powered it through WordPress, and have been blogging ever since, and it's grown exponentially since then, and I love it.
So, for the Movie Mash, what types of content you've got? Reviews, obviously.
Yep, movie reviews for movies that are in theaters or on DVD. We have a segment called Netflix This, where it's a suggestion to our readers on any sort of movie that you can rent on DVD or watch instantly, that have been either new or have been from 1983. It doesn't matter, just a movie that we like and we like. You should check this out. We have post movie news. I follow various movie blogs that are centered and located in LA that get the day-to-day scoops and news on casting and directing and announcements on sequels or whatever it is. And we post that news, but with our take on it. And then have some interviews. I'm associated with this firm called Allied Marketing that sets up advanced screenings in the Twin Cities, and I'm on the press list for them, so I get to see advanced screenings with the film critics for the Star Tribune and Pioneer Press.
Nice.
Twice a week. I get to sit in the press seats with them. So several times a year they'll have stars from movies come into town, and I'll have interview opportunities. Such as several months ago, I got to interview the cast of The Last Airbender. I got invited out to Mall of America and a roundtable discussion with them. So there's a small amount, but interviews with people that I'm able to set up. So yeah, that's usually what the content is, and I think that we have somewhat of a unique perspective and insight and some wit and humor. I also have a segment called Funny Business that I just post any sort of hilarious parody or video or article that has a funny take on the movie industry or any sort of entertainment. So that sort of sums up the content of our site.
Okay. What's the biggest surprise you've had for blogging?
The difficulty in being able to have a consistent output of content, and especially with
even for somebody who's passionate about the topic.
Exactly. This is not my full-time job, so after staring at a computer screen for 8 hours during the day, the last thing I want to do is come home and stare at it again for another 3 hours and blog. So finding even though it's what I want to type about and I want to show people what I know about movies and what my opinions are, to have that consistent enthusiasm and energy, which initially was 100%, and so it's surprising that over time it's somewhat draining to have a consistent output of content, but it's also helpful that I've brought on 6 other writers to help with that, so I'm able to manage the business and aesthetic aspects of the site, but I also have people helping me out and carrying the load per se.
Sure.
So
So What is your day job then? You mentioned you.
I work for Forward Advertising downtown. It's a digital media agency,
Okay.
and I do social media for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
And for somebody who would be thinking about blogging or just started blogging, do you have any tips or advice you'd give them?
Like I said, right now, one of the biggest difficulties for me is consistent output of content. So even if it doesn't have to be an in-depth, 3-page analysis on whatever your topic may be, as long as it's like 2 paragraphs, whatever, just as long as you keep your readers engaged by providing content as consistently as possible is what I think is super paramount to, at least for the movie industry, because it's constant news and everything, and there's so much competition. So that, as well as try to make your site look as cool as you can from an aesthetic and user experience standpoint, and then utilize social media as much as possible to gain readers, to gain exposure, and to just connect your content across the internet as widely as you can.
All right. Well, thanks for taking the time to talk.
All right.